Hi, my name's Steve O'Neill and this is Rob. What's your second name, Rob?
Ryder.
Ryder, yeah, because I've got it on the note there. Now, Rob is actually from where I'm from. It's like little and large, isn't it? But Rob is from where I am. Winningshaw, Manchester, council estate. Fucking just massive council estate, but it makes or breaks you. And I met Rob here a couple of years ago, some group I went to. I only went once. I met Rob and then I've seen him out and about, and he actually cleans the windows. He's got like a little window cleaning business, so he actually cleans the windows here where I live, all the old folks. But Rob has say done something similar to what I have. He's got off the council estate. That's what he's done. That council estate makes or breaks you. You develop your character, you either go under or you develop into a person. And he's lived abroad, he's lived, as he says, in Greece, he's lived on the beach, he's lived in Jersey, he's lived on the beach in Greece, and then he did the big one where he went to South America. And he's actually got a South American wife, he's got children, and he's settled down here. But Rob also, he's interested in politics, he's interested in everything that's going on that's negative towards human beings, towards mankind. And with getting off the council estate, he's seen things, he's realised things, and then you come back to the council estate, or you come back to your little town, and you see that it's not right. And that's what used to happen to me. And eventually you realise that this isn't for you. So Rob's like, lived this life, whatever, he's got the wife, he's got the kids, and now he's doing something about it in his own little way. And I'm going to put some links below to videos he's made. Because what Rob's little thing is, he gives lectures, he gives talks, he'll hire a hall, or he'll hire a room in a pub. He's connected to other groups, to people. He's made connections with people. He's learned things, he's gathered information, then he passes this information on through these talks. And then he asks for a voluntary contribution. Just like fucking Gary Lineker and the fucking TV licence, voluntary contribution. And so he gets his, and this is what Rob does, and I'm going to put links below to some of the talks, but one of Rob's main interests is inoculating babies. And he's learnt a lot of information. And he's actually a doctor you're connected with in Belgium, isn't he, Rob? What's his name?
Patrick Quantum.
Right, so he's not just like I do. I just sit on my sofa and talk. And I talk from things that I think about and I inspire me and common sense. Rob's looked into it, he's read the books, he's like looked it all up, he's got these people. So I noticed something a few months ago, Rob, in the paper, and I got the clipping, and it was like allergies of children have gone up like 60-70%, and they're all like that. We can't understand why they've gone up 67%, why our children are basically weaker in body, why are they getting these allergies? In America now they've just licensed that you can inoculate your child against peanut allergy. That is now a drug that is officially licensed in America. So that's another inoculation for children. It's another thing that's going to hit the bodies. Babies. So, what's your first thoughts, Rob, after my little ramble about inoculating babies and children?
The first thing I'd say to anybody watching this is a book I bought about 10 years ago. I'm not trying to promote this for somebody to make money, because I know this guy is a medical biochemist who I know, called Trevor Gunn, and he's wrote a book called The Science of Health and Healing.
We'll put a link to that below.
Yeah, if anybody wants to understand, it's not just about vaccination and what they're actually doing, it's their interpretation of disease that is wrong, that is clearly wrong, and understanding that will explain why we're getting all these allergies. And if there's three historical things you need to look at. You need to look at Edward Jenner and the smallpox vaccination, big historical event. You need to look at Louis Pasteur, germ theory. Both these historical events where given that these guys made incredible scientific advances. You can't question what they did. The smallpox vaccination wiped out smallpox. Pasteur found out there's all these little microbes we can't see that are getting into our body and making us ill.
Yeah.
The actual truth is, if you look at the papers from that time, I bought a book written in 1914, which is a little bit after that, but not long. Actually, most scientists and medical professionals didn't go along with their story. There was girls working with cows that were contracting smallpox, contrary to what they were saying.
Yeah.
With compulsory smallpox vaccination, I've seen the figures in Britain, but in America, in Germany, and around the world, the death rate went massively up. That's been hidden from history. And they don't tell you that.
There was recently, in the paper the other day, I was watching it on TV, there's an AIDS vaccine and they've had to stop it. They had 5,000 in South Africa. They had this AIDS vaccine because South Africa's got a lot of AIDS. You know, it's just like ignorance and whatever, poverty. And they had 5,000 test subjects and they were testing this AIDS vaccine and they had to stop it because it was killing them.
Yeah.
It was killing some of them.
Well, I would say if you read this book, and there's lots of,
What's the name of the book again?
The Science of Health and Healing by Trevor Gordon. Now, he's a qualified medical biochemist.
Yeah.
My other friend, my personal friend who I work, Patrick Quanton, he was a doctor for 18 years and he walked out over 20 years ago.
So it's the Belgium guy?
Yeah, he worked in the Channel Islands, so he was practicing with the British Medical Association. And it comes back to this understanding of what is disease. And even you go back to AIDS, AIDS isn't a thing that exists. They say this virus, HIV, causes AIDS. One, it's never been proven.
No. It hasn't.
And what is AIDS? Well, if anyone tests positive for the virus, and it's not a very good test, it's not a reliable test whatsoever, it doesn't prove the virus is there. It's a completely unreliable test because they don't test for the virus, they test for antibodies to the virus, and there isn't a particular HIV antibody. It could react to anything. So the test isn't positive. If you happen to be living in poverty and starvation and you've got TB and you die because of TB and starvation, but you test positive for HIV, you'll be said you died of AIDS.
Yeah.
So AIDS isn't a thing that exists. It's the whole way people are living. And actually we know now that one of the treatments for HIV, which was given to healthy people, was actually causing the breakdown of the immune system.
That costs money as well. Lots of money.
Obviously there's a lot of money to be made in it. A lot of money.
So who is this Belgian guy anyway?
Well, he's Patrick Quanton, so you can put the links onto the interviews they're doing with him. And he was a doctor for 18 years, but he had a unique experience in that it was his own practice.
Yeah.
So it was a private practice in the Channel Islands. It was a small island.
Yeah.
And in that community, he knew all his patients. It's not like you go to the doctor's here in a super and they won't see you again.
Yeah.
They might see you for 10 minutes a few times a year and that's it. He seen his patients in the pub. He seen them in the post office.
Yeah.
He got to know people's lifestyles and he could see actually disease isn't just a thing that's gone wrong in your body. There's things happen in your life that are affecting your health.
Of course he do.
And he started bringing in alternative treatments, you know, healthcare, nutrition, homeopathy, massage, to see what effect that would have, because it was his own practice. He could do that.
Yeah, and he had the time, and it was like Jersey is totally different.
Well, it's laid back, completely laid back.
Totally laid back, yeah.
He had the time to talk to people, and he's seen that there was bigger factors in illness than just a microbe or just the body going wrong. And then he got in trouble from the Medical Association for not prescribing enough drugs.
Like Wakefield. Like he got in trouble for swimming against the tide.
Yeah, and so because he wasn't prescribing enough drugs,
fucking hell. He had healthy patients.
He had healthy patients, doesn't matter. He wasn't prescribing enough drugs.
Yeah, which is like Jersey's an island, so they've got the sea air. They haven't got the pollutions that are attacking your body. Because I lived in Jersey for a short while. So you have a healthier lifestyle, technically. You know, you can still do the stuff. So you've got these things, and he's been told off because somebody's looked at a computer and gone, He's not prescribing enough drugs for his healthy patients. He should be finding things wrong with them, you know. And
well, you have to trace where does that ideology come from, and if you go to the turn of the century, and there's a report called the Flexner Report, and it was put forward by the Carnegie family and
billionaires,
funded by the Rockefellers.
Billionaires.
Yeah. So what they did, this guy Flexner put up this report, he'd done all this research, and he come back saying allopathic medicine is the only scientifically accepted medicine way to treat. Now allopathic means you oppose what the body's doing.
Government, it's like the government religion.
It became, they completely took over medical thinking.
Yeah.
And whereas older practices went with the body, allopathic goes against it, so it sees that the body is a machine that's broken down. And what they did through the Rockefellers, $100 million at the time, $100 million, 110, 15 years ago, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
They took over all the education of doctors.
Yeah.
In the universities and the college, and made this is the only scientific accepted way to treat illness.
And government willingly gave him that responsibility.
Well, yeah,
because it meant they weren't responsible anymore for medical practice.
And you would have to question the influence of these billionaire families within government.
Yeah.
So that's when all this quackery come in.
Yeah.
So now anybody who doesn't believe mainstream medical science now is a quack.
Yeah.
But it's completely and utterly controlled. Utterly controlled.
And you can see that more at our age. I mean, you're like, what, 50? I'm 64. And you're getting more and more inoculations. So when does it stop? They think there's this arrogance that they think they can conquer nature, isn't there? That's what they're saying. It's like the peanut allergy. Well, why is peanut allergy on the rise? Why aren't they asking that question? No, what we're going to do is we're going to defeat it. We're going to war.
They never ask why.
They never ask why more children are allergic to peanuts. It's like we had the Pret a Manger, didn't we, recently with that young girl. She had the Pret a Manger sandwiches. And then they found out these Pret a Manger sandwiches can be stored for nearly 2 years. They're made and frozen. So she gets it, and it's not labelled. It's not on the label that there's a nut allergy or there's a nut in it somewhere, sesame seed. So she choked and died. So what they're doing is they're stoking up your fear, ready for the peanut allergy inoculation. And it's all about fear, and then you willingly put your child forward for the inoculation, don't you?
Well, everything is about fear.
Yeah.
And if this, I don't know what the audience is going to think about this, but if you go back to Louis Pasteur and germ theory, which every medical professional, most of the public will say, germs make you ill. There's no evidence of that whatsoever.
Because your stomach is a mass of germs, isn't it?
Yeah.
In fact, there's more microbes and germs in your stomach, the lining of your stomach, acid, and you think, as soon as you hear acid, you think, well, that'll burn right through my carpet, right through my floor. But for some reason, your stomach lining can withhold acid, and your body requires acid, doesn't it?
Well, there's 10 times more microbes than your own cells.
Yeah.
And we've been, through Louis Pasteur, been given this scientific method that exterior microbes, bacteria, come into your body and make you ill.
It's like the cartoons, isn't it? You see of microbes are always evil.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah.
Now, what I tell you, any biologist will know, without bacteria, there'd be no life.
Bacteria breaks down fucking...
yeah, it's the basis
dead
of
bodies.
Life. We'd have no life.
Yeah.
There are no really good and bad bacteria. There's just bacteria.
Yeah.
There's bacteria that can be seen in illness and bacteria that won't. But they don't cause the illness. And then when they started finding illnesses that they couldn't pin on bacteria, they invented this other thing, they called the virus. And they say it comes in, and that makes us ill. When in fact, it's never been proven once in the history of science that...
Like the coronavirus.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've looked at figures from the medical profession,
Yeah.
and you have these measles outbreaks, and I've seen all the figures for about 10 years, and the doctors are supposed to have to notify if they suspect measles. It's a notifiable disease.
Yeah.
So say, for example, 600 are notified. So many will get taken to a lab for testing to see what's actually measles. Yeah. Now the
Yeah.
test isn't reliable anyway, because it's the same test. They test for the antibodies, not the measles virus. So the test isn't reliable. Of all the figures I've seen for years and years, the best I think they got to about 30% positive.
Yeah.
And they got sometimes below 1% positive, which means doctors are wrong sometimes 99% of the time. Which means that potentially most measles notifications have nothing to do with the measles virus, but they've got all the same symptoms.
Yeah.
So how can you say measles is a virus? You can't.
Yeah, because
They've
not met each other, have they?
Well,
The virus is supposed to be passed on, isn't it, through like...
they say that,
Yeah.
but it's great to have a story that you can't prove,
Yeah.
because they're so small, viruses, you can't see them. But if you can make believe people, every time I go down the motorway and I've gone past an accident, you can be guaranteed 5 minutes later there'll be an ambulance and a fireman. But they never cause the accident. They only see it after the accident.
Yeah.
And these micro... There's an
See,
infinite number of...
I'm a great believer if you're poorly, you can spread disease through... if you sneeze on somebody or something, you're actually passing the germs to them.
But most people will have them germs anyway.
Yeah.
And unless them germs, all bacteria have their own specific
Yeah.
food, and it's always waste. If you haven't got that food,
If you're healthy,
yeah, which means
germs are healthy.
yeah, which means any ill person can sneeze on me, but if I'm healthy, I won't get ill. If I'm on the way to getting ill,
Yeah.
then I provide a food source.
Or you're weak.
But that wouldn't matter because the bacteria created within myself anyway.
Yeah.
So I would have got in anyway.
And then your body actually learns, once you've had a germ, you've had an illness, your body, like... I'm not saying it adapts to it, but it goes in its memory, doesn't it?
But if you think of illness as purely a cleansing of the system,
Yeah.
that is it.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot more to it than that, but basically it's a cleansing of the system. The problem with, they say that vaccinations help childhood development with immunity.
Yeah.
Right? There is no such thing as immunity. It doesn't exist.
No, it's not.
Immunity is being in good health. It's
Yeah.
nothing to do with microbes and antibodies. Now, Trevor Gunn, who wrote this book, The Science of Health and Healing, he got the top man, Dr. Clements of the WHO, 25 years ago to admit that the production of antibodies doesn't create immunity in people.
Yeah.
So they've known that for 25 years, and the whole basis of vaccination is it creates antibodies that give you immunity. And they've known for 25 years or longer that that isn't true.
Yeah.
Antibodies have got nothing to do with creating immunity whatsoever. And the WHO know that.
Yeah, because it's just a front organisation.
Immunity is from a baby's born that it learns to develop and grow and live within the world in a state of balance.
Yeah.
That's what immunity is. It's nothing to do with the outside world. It's to do with that child living in balance with that world. And for that, its system has to grow. When you inject poisons, which all vaccines are poisons.
Yeah.
If they haven't got poisons in, they won't create an immune response.
Yeah.
So that's why they put adjuvants in, like aluminium and...
It's like this cyanide in nicotine, isn't it? You smoke a cigarette, you're absorbing cyanide and lots of other things.
Well, you smoke tobacco, you're probably alright.
Yeah, but it's like...
Well, if you're injecting this stuff in a baby,
a baby, that's
at a
the
point
thing.
where it's not even developed, it's trying to develop.
Yeah.
So you're going past, if you think of your mouth coming right through your digestive tract, it's still outside your body.
Yeah.
Now that needs to develop and grow and get used to the world that it's living in.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to have things going internal like that.
Because a baby's come out of a water environment, hasn't it? It's come out of the womb. that baby can breathe in water. That baby can live in a water environment, and it's grown from like one cell, and it's multiplied, and it's like the miracle of life, and then it comes out into the air, into the earth, into this existence. The baby's born. Now all of a sudden these like doctors and scientists are saying that baby needs this.
Well, they're saying nature's defective.
Yeah, they're saying nature needs our help.
Yeah.
But that baby has grown well, it's actually grown from like obviously the sexual act where a sperm meets an egg, and that baby is developed inside a water environment. It's breathed in a water environment. It's developed, the brain and everything else is developed, all the body's developed, all the organs in the body.
All on its own.
All on its own, nature. It's the baby's then born, and then all of a sudden these doctors and scientists get hold of it and say nature needs a hand.
Well, they're saying the baby's useless.
Yeah.
Nature's useless.
Yeah.
Every single time you cut your finger, if you keep it clean, a week later it'll be healed.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens, but that happens for every human being in the world.
But the body does it.
Yeah. So why are we even questioning the body? The body's natural tendency is to heal.
Yeah.
That's what it's built for, to heal.
Until it reaches a certain age and then it goes into deterioration.
Well, yeah,
for reasons.
There's less energy in the system to
Yeah.
keep it going. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
you have to be more
yeah.
careful with your diet when you get older.
Yeah.
But the whole point of the body is to stay in balance. And that is to keep the system clean so the flow of energies could go through.
Yeah.
When this system starts to clog up through bad diet,
Yeah.
poisons being injected or whatever, you will then become ill.
Yeah.
What is the illness but a cleansing of the system?
Yeah.
Allopathic medicine sees that as the body gone wrong, so they suppress it. When you suppress something, you push it further in.
Yeah.
So all these chronic illnesses, what we're seeing in society now, are created by medical thinking. 120, 30, 40, 50 years ago, you had acute illness, you had the strength to live through it, or you died.
Yeah.
And that's natural.
That was nature.
That's nature. Now, we're not allowed to go through acute illness. And so you think everything's okay because that fever's gone, or I'm not vomiting anymore, I'm not running to the toilet. But where's all this stuff that your body wanted to get rid of? Where's it now? It's pushing it further in.
It's like, this sounds crude, but I used to get terrible headaches, and recently they've got better. My consumption of painkillers has just dropped dramatically. But one of the symptoms when I knew I was ill, when my headache was going, I actually knew before. I could feel symptoms within my body getting the headache. But one of the symptoms, it's like you're talking about the internal organs of your body, you know, you can feel it, was when I used to break wind. It was rotten. It's as though I was decomposing inside. It was different than all the other smells. Now this sounds crude, but you all know it. There was time when I was really ill, when my headaches were at a maximum. There used to be 4-day headaches. Years and years ago, I used to have a 4-day headache. I'd have to go to work and still have to function. And then I'd have 4 days stress and then 4-day headache. It was like 4 on 4 off, 4 on 4 off. But even the 4 off wasn't good. But my guts used to go rotten. Everything used to go rotten. That was just the internal, like, so everything's coming out that end, stinks. But also in my mouth, I'd get sores in my mouth. And it was on the right hand side. Because all these symptoms, all the aches and pains were on the right hand side of my body. Which is like the blood flowing up, and then into the shoulder, into the head, into the brain. But I used to get sores in my mouth, and that's one of the signs that your body is telling you, innit? Your mouth. That's why when the Chinese look in your mouth and that, you know, you get this old Chinese guy who looks in your mouth and his tongue, and they'll say, "Oh, you're out of balance." And your mouth is a sign of being out of balance. When you get
These people understand there's certain organs that will express a certain emotion, a certain state of being.
Yeah.
And that you haven't got separate parts to your body, it's one body.
It's one body, yeah.
Yeah.
All linked up.
And you go to the doctor, oh, my knee's sore, my shoulder, I've got an headache, I'm coughing.
Yeah.
They see that as separate issues. There's one issue going on.
Yeah.
There might be many factors in it, But you're only one body. You don't chop your body in half. You don't chop the car.
It's
in
like
bits.
it's like when you see the chart of the body with the bones, and then you see the chart of the body with your blood flow, and you've got all your blood vessels. You got your red, your blue, and all that. It's one body.
Yeah.
It's one blood flow.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like your blood flows to a separate part. No, that blood then carries on to another part of your body, and it does the whole
So any
tour
part
of
of
your
the body
body
can affect on any other part of the body.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, there's only really one illness, and that's stress on the system.
Right, let's talk about babies now. You've got these new babies. You were telling me something about the lining. So when they inoculate a baby, now the MMR jab, we'll just say the MMR jab for an example, the multiple jabs that they give a baby at just weeks old. And you tell me what you told me the other day, why this is totally and utterly wrong.
Well, again, if you read Trevor Gunn's book, the main thing you've got to understand is vaccinations go internally. So they might not put them directly into your blood, but they will have access to your blood.
Yeah.
That means they'll have access to your brain. That means they'll have access to your internal organs.
Yeah.
A young baby that hasn't developed, that in no way can you compare that to a natural illness. You know, that's a violation of a baby's body.
Yeah.
So that
You've invaded it, haven't
vaccination's supposed to simulate a natural illness,
you? Yeah.
so you become protected to it. That isn't simulating a natural illness. That's the poisoning of a baby,
Yeah.
because you've entered through to the internal structure of the body. The idea, what you want to develop, is your digestive tract, and there's this membrane that separates the in and the out, and that needs to learn. That's why you can't give babies. You've got to wean them.
Yeah.
The body's got to learn. The internal structure's got
Wean
to
them
learn.
off the maternal milk and that.
Yeah, because they're not ready to digest that. If they can't digest anything but breast milk, how on earth would you think they could digest poisons
yeah.
injected into the body?
Mercury.
Yeah,
All the
I
stuff.
mean, it's... If I was to take the list of ingredients in a vaccine,
Yeah.
pretend it isn't a vaccine, grab a child down and throw it into that child, I'd be put in prison.
Yeah.
When a doctor does it, with all these ingredients,
Yeah.
it's a medical procedure.
And you're not allowed to resist what that doctor does. In fact, they've got authority. They've got authority over parents on so many things, and they're really pushing to get authority to force vaccination on babies, aren't they?
Yeah. At the moment, the talks I do aren't about pro or against vaccination. It's people's own choice. Nothing to do with me.
Yep, free will.
But the law is very clear. It's a law of informed consent.
And we're not being informed.
We're not being informed.
It's like one of the
So how can you give?
How can you make a decision if
How
you're
can
not
you
being
make a
informed?
decision? And now what they're saying is now, they're pushing it a little bit. They're not informing you, but you have to prove you're informed when you don't want to do it. And they're more and more trying to push away parental rights to medical treatment for children.
Yeah.
It's happening with cancer strictly. If a child's got cancer, they'll literally just take them off you and put chemo in.
Do you know the first time I noticed this medical authority over parents was when, do you remember years ago when they brought the mother over, the pregnant mother from Malta, and she had co-joined twins, and they called them Siamese twins, co-joined, whatever, and she was pregnant, and she came over from Malta, and St Mary's Hospital in Manchester set up a team for the birth. And what they did was, they did this procedure where there was like 20, 30, 40, 50 people involved, and they had a caesarean, Siamese twins born, 2 little girls, and then the medical profession took over, and they were joined at the hip and the head, and the doctors said, right, we're going to separate them, and the parents actually said no. So these are Maltese citizens, European citizens. They've been brought here for this procedure, and then all of a sudden the medical authorities went to court and took control of the children. And they said, no, we're going to operate, it's got nothing to do with you. And that's when I realised it was one big experiment.
They're doing it more and more.
They must have, that hospital saw an opportunity to experiment giving birth to these two little girls. And then they saw an opportunity to experiment, to work on the body, to separate them. And even though the parents were prepared to accept their children as they were born, they said, no, we're going to separate them, we're going to operate them. And I think one of the girls died. And that's when I first realised that the medical profession just wants control of your children.
Because they're the experts, you see.
Because they're the experts.
They've the self-proclaimed experts,
Yeah.
which goes back to this Flexner report. So because they're the self-proclaimed experts, you can't challenge anything they say.
And they've got the law to back them up in government now.
Yeah.
And they're getting
Why?
more and more laws.
Why? Because as an ill-educated member of the public, you're putting your child at risk.
Yeah.
Now, I can tell you that the death rate from measles fell 99% before the introduction of the vaccine.
Through healthy living.
Yeah. Now, doctors aren't given that graph, but I've got it off the Department of Health.
Because we had the good years,
Yeah.
didn't we?
Whooping cough, the same. All disease fell dramatically before the introduction of vaccine programs. Scarlet fever, which was the biggest killer of children in the 1800s, fell to 0, I think, in the mid-1940s.
Well, a lot of it comes from poverty.
And there was never a vaccine introduced.
Yeah.
Never. Look at the Industrial Revolution. Look at the living conditions from the mid-1800s to the turn of the century.
Yeah.
It was poverty. It was sewage in the streets. It was living conditions that created the illness.
And the Victorians built the sewers, which cleaned up the cities.
Cleaned up the cities. Yeah. All the drop in disease, including smallpox, happened because of that.
Yeah. The sewers.
Yeah. And what they say, smallpox and polio wiped out is an absolute not true, because the death rate went massively up with compulsory smallpox vaccination.
Yeah.
And what they did in the, I think the 50s, before the introduction of polio, which was seen as a Western disease, which was shown to be a disease of contamination through
Go on, carry on.
polluted pesticides with DDT, etc., arsenic, lead, they reclassified polio as the vaccine program coming. So you've got polio, big disease, connected to pesticides, but we'll push that out of the way. Introduce a vaccination, polio drops off.
Yeah.
But actually, they reclassified it into about another 10 diseases. It's very clever and very manipulative what they do. And then they shipped all the DDT over to Asia and South America and all that.
People whose
Africa.
bodies are not used to it at all.
And that's where polio come from. It wasn't a virus migrating here and there. They started poisoning people.
It's like Agent Orange in the Vietnam War. It's like the Americans are going into the jungle, they're all shit scared and whatever. And they're getting picked off, and then they got the big battles in the jungle. So somebody thought, I know what we'll do. We'll defoliate the jungles. It's a nice word, defoliate. So what they did was, they killed the jungle. And what they did was, around bases and wherever there was lots of action, these planes would come in and spray the jungle. And it'd defoliate, which means they totally kill the jungle. Well, this spray had DDT, had all sorts. It was called Agent Orange. I'll see if I can find a link to it in a video. And there's obviously American soldiers in the jungle or on the bases, and they're getting sprayed with it. The Vietnamese, the Viet Cong, they're getting sprayed with it in the jungle. And then all the jungle disappears, so they've got to move out. And that was the idea, to move them on. But human beings, men, were getting sprayed with it. American soldiers and Vietnamese soldiers. Then, all of a sudden, these American soldiers are going back to America, to the wives, girlfriends. They're having a child, and this defoliant Agent